All right. The Minnesota Vikings kick off training camp in just over a month. Minnesota Vikings reporter Kevin Seifert was a part of a 32-team collaboration this weekend, breaking down all the biggest rookie storylines heading into camp. For the Vikings, it was the safety battle. First-round pick Lewis Cine, second-year man Cam Bynum that led the way. Reggie, has been talked about so much on this show. Cam Bynum, he did flash quite a bit last year. Rangy, athletic, good hands, feel for the speed of the game already, but I'm sorry, you just don't use a first-round pick on a kid and not expect him to come in and play. It's just how it works. So one way or another, whether it's Bynum starts out the gate and they bring Cine along slowly those first couple weeks, whether it's a 3-safety package on certain down and distances throughout the game on passing downs, or whether it's just Cine coming into camp and preseason just balling out like a first-round pick could. Coaches say, hey, he's gone out there, he's earned this starting spot. One way or another, though, it's got to be Lewis Cine on the field more than he's not by early October at the latest. What's your thoughts on this safety battle and how it could shake out maybe early in training camp versus by the time we start in week one?
You know, so many people were critical of Kwesi when he came out, at the start of free agency and was just like, yeah, we're building for the future and the present. And it's just like, well, it's one or the other, bro. Like, what do you mean? And when they drafted Lewis Cine, I think the picture could be a little bit more clear because they have Harrison Smith, and the dude's probably a first ballot Hall of Famer, and you're just like, okay, all right, we're set there. But then now you got this future here, and you're just like, okay, well, I mean, the guy is athletic, he's an exciting young player. He's kind of like comparable to like the Anthony Edwards of the Vikings, if you will. They brought him in. He's just this really cool dude, exciting guy, just, fun dude. And he's ready to go out there and hit somebody. He literally said that. And so I think you got to find a way to get this guy in there. That being said, when Harrison Smith was out last season, man, like Cam Bynum was fantastic. And you're just like, you expect him to take a step forward. Mike Zimmer was partial to the veterans, and so when Smith was ready to go, he was back in there, and Bynum was, relegated to backup duty. But we've seen that Bynum is capable. And what is going to be really cool, you don't see a lot of competition, all over the field, but this new coaching staff wants to see what everybody is about. And so they're breeding competition within this team. And I think we're going to see a lot of good battles in training camp. And that's going to be one of them, whether or not Bynum or Cine starts. I think what is the best case scenario is something that you mentioned. Bynum plays so well, Cine plays so well that you got to find a way to put them both in there at the same time with Harry. So
Right.
Some type of package where all three are playing at the same time. Maybe Bynum goes into like a nickel slot or something like that. Maybe, there's so many ways that they can get all of them involved, more consistently. But like you say, you don't draft a guy first round pick to just be riding the pine. Like you expect him to be an impact player, and everything that they've said about him up until this point would suggest that they believe that he will be. And it's just a great luxury to have a guy like Cam Bynum there as well, who is young and hungry and ready for his time to shine as well. And you're just like, well, look, put them all in there. Hunger Games, may the odds ever be in your favor. Nobody dies, whatever.
Right,
but
right.
I think the cool part about that is this coaching staff talks a lot about competition. And you look across the field, it's pretty much set at quarterback, running back, wide receiver. There's a little bit of competition on the offensive line, a little bit on the defensive line. The linebackers are pretty much set. A little bit of competition with tight end position. Like, there's not a whole lot of competition out there with some of these positions. And that presents an opportunity to have a spirited competition, and may the best man win.
Yeah, we talk a lot about this safety battle for sure, up in the air. This whole defense, though, is brand new. Whole new switch here to a 3-4. Yeah, you can probably plug in a lot of the starters right now in Sharpie, but how and where they're going to be used, so many different variations, different variables, sub-packages. We have no idea how those are going to be used. Sub-packages quietly rule the NFL right now. Teams rarely playing their base defense outside of first down much anymore. It's those sub packages, the 3-3-5 look. That's 3 safeties. That would be a great opportunity again to get all 3 guys in the mix on the field at the same time. And there is one small case scenario here no one's talking about either, and that's the fact that Harrison Smith, no knock on him whatsoever, you mentioned it, first ballot Hall of Famer, come on. But 11th season, 33 years old now. Maybe it's not the worst idea in the world to save his legs once in a while, give him a few snaps off here or there, and let Bynum and Cine man the field when the right down and distance or game situation unfolds. You know, game's out of hand in the fourth quarter. No point in putting any more wear and tear on Harry than needed. Just a thought. Here's another great thought too, Reggie. Our partners at BetOnline continue to be your number one source for all your betting needs. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports info, including this year's World Series, fights, and even NFL futures. Head to the website today to use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. Can't make up a better segue from that into my next question. NFL future bets are out, and they are hot, especially if you're a Viking fan of skill position players. Justin Jefferson currently only behind Cooper Kupp for the receiving title at 8.5 to 1 odds. Throw a buck down, win 850. Dalvin Cook, meanwhile, is tied for third for most rushing yards with Nick Chubb at 11 to 1, behind only Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry at 5 to 1. Reggie, the Vikings brought in Kevin O'Connell and got with the times, pass happy, run up the score, shoot 'em out league. They dumped that old school approach, ground and pound, play good defense, don't turn the ball over regime. This is going to be a completely new look offense. We know that. And you know, even under Zimmer and his conservative approach, guys like JJ and Cook still balled out. So when you see these odds, where they are in the mix of other top players, just how high can this ceiling actually be for this entire offense? And specifically skill guys, JJ, Cook, KJ Osborne, Irv Smith, Adam Thielen, guys like that.
I think best case scenario is all these guys are Pro Bowlers. You know, like this Rams offense was so dynamic last year when Matt Stafford needed a bucket. He was able to drop it in to Cooper Kupp, and he just made a play. Like the guy was just always open for some reason. It was just like, hey, like, you want to double this guy? Like, I don't know what's going on here. And I know, like, now, you know, with Cooper Kupp having been established for several years now, you know, I think that teams are going to be paying a little bit more attention to him. And, you know, it's going to be up to him, you know, on if he can prove his mettle with, you know, the added attention. He's not going to sneak up on anybody anymore. You know, teams are going to be keying on him moving forward. And so that kind of leaves the door open for a guy like JJ, who is always open as well. Like, the guy just gets open. He runs great routes. He's a tactician. I don't even know if that's the word. But the dude
made up a word. That's how good he is.
I just made that
he's
up.
Open.
I just made that up. I don't even know where it came from, baby. But I think it's awesome to see what he does on the field. And we saw last year there were some games where he really wasn't involved like maybe he wanted to be or maybe he should have been. And they made a little bit more of an extra effort to get him the ball, and it worked. It paid off. You know, when that offense targets JJ, good things happen. And a lot of times he's open. I mean, give it to him. And there were some missed opportunities last year that could have really ballooned his stats. And, you know, Zimmer just always being so true to running the football. And I get it when you got a guy like Dalvin Cook, like, you do that. But when you got JJ and his talent and skill and ability, you try any type of way to get him the ball. And I think that's going to be the challenge with Kevin O'Connell. And I think he's excited about that challenge because that's a special talent to go from Cooper Kupp, OBJ, Van Jefferson, you know, all those guys, to now getting Thielen, Jefferson, KJ Osborne, Dalvin Cook running it out of the backfield, and now you're talking about maybe getting him some touches in the passing game as well. Like, this offense has the chance to be super, super dynamic, and that just means obliterating all these odds.
Here's what I want to know. Everybody since the day O'Connell was brought in said, all right, pass, passing league, chuck it up 3, 4, 5 wide. Irv Smith out on the boundary standing up. We still got Dalvin Cook. And you look at him, 4th best odds to win the rushing title. Look at the guys ahead of him. Jonathan Taylor. Indy's known for running the rock with Jonathan Taylor because they have Jonathan Taylor. Why wouldn't you? Derrick Henry, the Titans. They give that man 40 touches a game because you got Derrick Henry. I want to know what this balance and mix is going to look like, because as much as we talk about the passing game and all these wide receivers and weapons they have, you still got Dalvin Cook, and you know Kevin O'Connell is going to find ways to use him. Is it going to be more in the passing game, out of the backfield, things like that? Or, in today's day and age, it used to be, well, you run to set up the pass. Now it's almost like you pass to set up the run. I'm interested to see this balance here, how nuanced they get, and how many touches and just rushes the Vikings as a whole with Cook, Alexander Madison, Kene Nwangu, rookie Ty Chandler in the mix. Now, that's a lot of talent in that backfield. I'm just interested, as much as we talk about the passing game with Kevin O'Connell, which will certainly be the top priority, but you can't forget about Dalvin Cook. And when you talk about, Cooper Kupp's going to get doubled, well, JJ's going to get more attention. When you got a guy like Dalvin Cook, that forces that safety in the box, and all of a sudden, somebody's got one-on-one coverage or a little bit looser coverage in that back end in the secondary. Going to be interesting, going to be a lot of fun to watch. Again, training camp coming up just over a month away at TCO facilities. Rest assured, Reggie and I will be all over that by the time training camp kicks off.